What's going on, guys? Danny here from Metal Couch, bringing you a review of one of the most anticipated albums of the year, Septicflesh's Titan. Now, The Great Mass, to me, was a perfect album, so I feel that Septicflesh have a lot to live up to with Titan. So, let's not waste any time, let's go right into it. I got the track listing right in front of me. Beginning with War in Heaven. Now, with the previous three tracks, I had somewhat criticized that none of them really grabbed me like the vampire from Nazareth from The Great Mass. War in Heaven being the album opener, I was expecting something like that. And while it does not have the intensity of that song, it still was able to grab me through a little bit of subtlety, and then towards the end it picks up and sounds awesome. The one thing that I can comment about, and this goes with the whole album, is that the choir work, whether it be the children's choirs or any of the other ones in the female vocals, everything that's working behind guitars, drums, and everything else is absolutely phenomenal. I love how this album sounds. I was initially kind of wary at first listening to Order of Dracul with the production because it didn't seem like the orchestra had enough of a dominant presence within the track, but that seems to have been rectified, as I did not have a problem listening to this album with something like that. And then from War in Heaven you get Burn, Order of Dracul, and Prototype. I've already reviewed these songs, so there's really nothing that I can go through other than the listing that they're going through, how they're positioned on the album. Sounds great, fine. They're all good songs in my opinion. Then we get to Dogma. I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to have to give it a little bit more time, but I think that Dogma is probably my favorite track off of this album. The midsection to this song is the reason why I love modern Septicflesh. It has this quality to it that every time I hear these clean parts that they put in, and it has the orchestra going and playing a beautiful piece, I just think, why haven't these guys done a film soundtrack yet? And I really like that kind of quality with this band, is that they could easily do something like this, but I guess the opportunity has not arose for them. Dogma is definitely a highlight track to listen to on this album, leading into Prometheus, which I believe Prometheus to have the same qualities as Dogma. And it seems like these three tracks, Dogma, Prometheus, and the title track Titan, are all connected, especially with the end of Prometheus leading directly into the title track, which is just all guns blazing, screaming Titan, and then playing this awesome guitar lines in this song. If you're a guitar player, this is probably the track that you're going to be looking for. And then we get to the 8th track, Confessions of a Serial Killer. Now, with The Great Mass, there was a track on there that I felt was the weakest of the album. It wasn't a bad track, but it almost kind of slowed things down a little bit, leading up to a climactic finish. That's what Confessions of a Serial Killer is. It reminds me a lot of The Undead Keep Dreaming from The Great Mass. It's very slow, very melodic, and just kind of serves to give a nice setup to the big finish with Ground Zero and The First Immortal. The First Immortal, in terms of an album closer, I think I may like Therianthropy more, but this is a very, very worthy track to end the album on. So you got a great highlight of Sotiris' vocals in this song, great clean vocal work. I am the first immortal, and then the last lyric, which, if I understood it correctly, was I am the first immortal, I am the last. This album as a whole, like The Great Mass, is an accomplishment, an achievement. There are several other metal bands that would never be able to create music like this and be able to blend orchestras together as well as these guys do. These guys know what they're doing, and frankly, some people may say Titan, like The Great Mass, is a step in the wrong direction. There are people who think that Mystic Places of Dawn and Esceptron are the best albums they've ever put out. And while I do enjoy Mystic Places of Dawn, you can't deny that modern Septicflesh definitely has an awesome quality to it. I cannot recommend this album highly enough. I went on ahead and I pre-ordered the limited edition. I think it's limited to 1,000 copies. When that comes in, I'll unbox that and do a review of the live CD inside. But seriously, this album drops, I think, on the 20th of this month. Pick this album up. You will not regret it. It is an amazing album, and I'm giving it an official nominee for Album of the Year. Cannot recommend it highly enough. That 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, whatever you want to call it. Listen to this album. It will change your life. Danny here from Metal Couch, signing out.